Coming up on Bloom, we're counting down to Paris with U.S. Olympic gold medal gymnast Scott Johnson.
And what a thrill it was that I was able to achieve that dream and make that team.
And the popular Cook for a Cause Epic Chef competition is back.
Perfect opportunity to talk about how we all enjoy food. You know, we say that everything good in life happens around a table.
Plus, I try my hand at a Summer Games sports, rock climbing. We'll have all that and more as Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, starts now. I'm Gayle Guyardo. Welcome to Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. The countdown to Paris is on as the world prepares to unite to celebrate the beginning of the 2024 Summer Games. Athletes and spectators alike are filled with hope and ready to witness feats of incredible skill, strength, and sportsmanship. As you can imagine, the historic city of Paris is reaching a fever pitch as anticipation grows and the world's eyes focus on the Stade de France, the country's largest stadium, which has transformed into the Olympic Stadium. Soon, it will be filled with spectators from every corner of the globe. Joining me now with insight on what we can expect at this year's Olympics is Scott Johnson, who was a member of the gold medal winning U.S. men's Olympic team at the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. He was also the team captain of the 1988 Seoul team and was the U.S. national champion in 1987. Scott, welcome to Bloom.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here and a true honor.
Oh, it's exciting to have you here. And it was my very first time ever touching or holding an Olympic gold medal. What a privilege and honor that is.
Well, I thought you all might want to see it. And of course, it's very, very special to me. It was something that was totally unexpected for us back in 1984. And so I carry it around with pride and I share it with everybody I come in contact with that may be interested in sharing a little bit of our experience with it.
And tell me about your experience of competing in Los Angeles.
Well, it was amazing. You know, I mean, you train your whole life for one event, and it took 13 years from the time I started to when the Olympic Games were in 1984, and what a thrill it was that I was able to achieve that dream and make that team. And then on top of that, to have the Olympic Games in Los Angeles, here in the United States on our home turf, just made it that much more better.
And really exciting for you because you had a celebration of sorts, a reunion not long ago at the trials.
Yeah, that was so exciting. We this was our 40th year anniversary of when we won gold in Los Angeles. So we were invited to the Olympic trials this year in Minneapolis just a couple of weeks ago. So me and my team, we were all together in Minneapolis for the Olympic trials, and it was a great reunion for us, and of course it was just fantastic to watch the men and the women compete and to see what the results were going to turn out to be for the Olympic teams coming to Paris this year.
And what are your thoughts? I mean, I know we're going to be talking to you a lot more, but tell me a little bit about your thoughts when it comes to what you witnessed.
It was it's spectacular what the sport how far it has come since we have competed. And the skills and the training that goes into it that these athletes are doing today is just absolutely phenomenal. And me and my teammates from '84, we're just in awe watching these guys and these girls compete. And we have great athletes this year. So I think that our forecast for Paris is going to be real positive. I think the men can certainly win a team medal. They might win the next gold. It hasn't been done since we did it in 1984. This is a great chance for the men to put it together, and they have a chance. And of course, with Simone Biles back on the team, and the success that the women have had in the previous Olympics, the women are sure to win the gold medal if they just hang in there.
I want to talk a little bit about you, what you're personally doing now. I think it's incredible how you are giving your gift to youth in Seminole County in Central Florida.
I love what I do. You know, I had a passion for gymnastics, and I had a great time doing it. And I was able to retire from the sport with a lot of positive past experiences, and if I had a chance to do it all over again, I would do it the exact same way. And I wanted to share that with the kids. And I have found, I've coached for years and years, but I have found that the biggest need is for the younger students, the grassroots programs. You get them started on the right track, you get them excited about the sport, and then they can take it as far as they want to go, follow their dream like I had followed my dream. So it's just, it's a great time. My competitive is strictly recreational. I don't have competitive teams that I work with, and it's just a thrill to watch these young students learn their skills and get excited about the sport. And that's how I started, and it worked good for me.
I was watching a really interesting story from NBC, Orlando Wesh, and it talked a lot about the psychology of your coaching style and how you're a big believer in positive reinforcement, especially at a young age.
Well, it has to be that way. Kid, if you're going to be successful at anything, you have to love what you are doing. So you need to put your students in an environment that is a positive environment, that they enjoy, that they're going to enjoy their experience. And so my whole philosophy is not every child's going to make it to be a great athlete. Just a small percentage do. But I think it's important that they have a great experience, but you got to love what you're doing. And if, as coaches, we don't provide that great environment for them, they're not going to want to come back to the gym. They're not going to put a big effort into to learn their skills the way that it needs to be learned. So I try to provide, although we're very highly structured, I try to provide a very positive environment for the students, no matter how good or how bad they might be. And we never use that word, how bad they might be. But everybody's a star in our program. And some kids are with us for many years. Some kids are with us just for a few months. But whatever kid walks through our door and experiences what we do, they're going to leave with a positive experience.
And I think, too, we have just a minute left, but I wanted to ask, like, how these lessons really carry children forward throughout life.
Well, I think it's very important that kids get into structured programs like that, because as they grow and they mature, someday they're going to be out on their own. And it's important to tackle life in a positive way, knowing that you can be successful at something. And we try to reinforce those attributes when the students are working with us each day.
That's really incredible. I tell you one thing, those folks in Seminole County, Florida are very, very lucky to have a gold medalist training them, especially one with such a positive attitude. Well,
thank you. And again, I love what I'm doing. I just love it. And it's if I had a chance to continue to do it, and I will continue to do it for as long as I can, I will. It's just something it's not a job to me. It's fun for me.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're sharing your gift, and we're going to share this story on BloomTampaBay.com, and we are so thrilled. Scott joined us on our podcast, The Bloom Health Club, in the WFLA Now Streaming Center to continue this incredible conversation. You can stream the full episode anytime on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now, 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Welcome back. As the Summer Games are just a week and a half away, and as we prepared to watch some of the most elite athletes in the world take the global stage, it's important to think about how all of this pressure impacts their mental health. Here with insight is three-time Olympic champion Brooke Bennett. Thanks so much for being here and weighing in.
Thank you. It's an important topic, and I'm glad that it's being talked about more and more for these athletes. It's completely different from even when I competed to what it's like now.
Today, why is that?
Social media.
Yeah.
It is. I say all the time, and I've talked to even some of our great Bucks Super Bowl champions back in the day when I was coming back from mine, and Allstott and Brooks and those guys. We've joked before on the side of saying it's so great that our careers were then without all that, because even when I was competing, it was, we've talked about this, you covering it, it was the news source, that was it, or you were going to the old school paper box and putting your quarter in to get there was nothing that was like breaking the moment it happened. And so these athletes are just exposed to so much more now.
Yeah, and let's talk about social media, because back in the day, like if somebody wanted to insult my hair, my outfit, or my makeup, which happened regularly, they'd have to send me an email, and that in itself was crushing.
Correct.
Now people just get on and they're popping off, and you know, they're hiding behind their screens. And that, even though the athletes, like you have mentioned before on Bloom, they put on their blinders as they get closer, it still trickles down, and it bothers them. And you're trying to stay focused on the positive, and you've got these trolls out there.
Right. And for many of the athletes that I've spoken to, even our local ones, I had Bobby Fink on the podcast with JB, and we were kind of previewing his trials, and Emma Wynette from Sarasota as well. And I asked them that question, what do you guys do? And they pretty much shut off their social media. So it is where I'm saying the blinders, they have to know to do that and protect themselves. And, you know, I think the big story, and I remember this almost like it was yesterday, when Simone Biles pulls out of the Olympics in Tokyo. And immediately I just started hearing and just the almost name calling and putting her down and saying, you're there, you're an Olympian, you have a job to do. And you know, I had to go back and sit and go, even as an Olympian, I have no idea what she feels like. I have no idea mentally how she's feeling. And if you're tumbling or you're in any sport, and I would say especially gymnastics, if you're not mentally sharp, you're putting yourself in danger then physically beyond the mental aspect of it. So, you know, I do think it's important for these athletes with their coaches to figure out how to manage it. But I said at that point in time, back off, because you're just here to support them, good, bad, and indifferent. Be a positive fan, you know? That's it.
Without a doubt. And I'm glad you mentioned Simone Biles and the mental acuity, and it takes for all athletes to be on an elite stage like the Olympics. But you think about, there's so many fears that could come into play, and one of them is fear of injury, which happens a lot with gymnasts. Like you train, and one misstep and you're out.
I would say out of all the Olympic trials that I was just watching, with swimming happening in June, and then it goes into track and field, and then we just finished up, I believe it was July 4th was the last day of gymnastics. But in all of those that I watch, which are the biggest summer sports, the one that I saw the injuries coming out of, how many athletes pulled out of the gymnastics Olympic trials because of injury? That's difficult. Track and field, I think swimmers were a little bit luckier on that aspect. We're not going to all of a sudden, I mean, we could trip and fall, there could be a car accident, there could be this and that. But as far as like the injury of competing, we can control that a little bit more. But there are so many things that each athlete has to do to prepare themselves really in a quad. This time being a little bit shorter because Tokyo wasn't until 21, that these athletes, many of them repeating, or if they missed, are now only having 3 years to shine again. And as athletes, that the Olympics is your biggest sporting event, this is our Super Bowl. It doesn't come back next year. It comes back in 28 and you're 4 years older.
Yes.
So for many of these, if they miss it, this was their one window, and they may never be able to get back to have a chance to compete at an Olympic Games again.
Yeah, I never thought about that. That's really incredible. I know that a lot of athletes like yourself, you have to learn to work through performance anxiety.
Yes.
You know, it's a mental game just as much as it is a physical game. What did you learn as an athlete getting through this? Because you're a 3-time champ.
Again, I, listened to music. I had my 4 pump-up songs. I said this even to Bobby Fink's mom, because I was texting her before he went to go compete in the 800, and she said he was so nervous. And I said, it's just like my mom. And I knew that my mom was always nervous. I always told her, be nervous for the both of us, because then I can just get in and perform. And so I knew that in the back of my mind, that my mom was going to be a nervous wreck, so I didn't need to be. And then for me, it was just having the confidence, knowing that my coach and I had put the training in. And it's a little bit of confidence, it's a little bit of cockiness. I think there's a happy medium between the both. And at the end of the day, I just kept reminding myself, when I got up on the block to swim, I was doing what I loved. And just go out there and race. Just go out there and have fun, and then everything else will fall into place.
And I know today, as a mother, a community leader, a television presence, that, by the way, this woman is going to be throughout the Olympics for 2 straight weeks. You're going to be working alongside JB Buno, and this is going to be, availability in close to 200 markets across the country.
Yeah. Well, and there you go again. So now that I just learned this, that we're not just doing a local What's Hot in Paris every day during the Olympic Games, this can be picked up in 173 markets. So I think I need to use a little bit of my own advice and understand that there may come up comments, or I said something wrong, or somebody didn't agree with what I said. Again, these are my opinions. This is what I've experienced. I'm just trying to bring that to our viewers. We all have valid opinions. And there are some good, some bad. I'm not going to judge you. You don't judge me. And again, I'm just going to go out there for 2 weeks and have a good time with it.
That is super exciting. How do you, we only have just a small snippet left, but how do you use the lessons that you learned as an Olympic athlete in life?
Like you said, all the things that I do, development manager with CFY, being a mom of 2 boys, still competing, still training, now picking up the podcast that I still have to balance in all of this. Time management. I learned that in swimming and having to make every practice and everything that I did. So how I grew up and what my parents instilled in me and the dedication and the dreams, I still have goals every week. I still have things that I need to do with CFY and bring in enough money so that we can help kids in the community play youth sports. And it's the same way. I have to educate and study for the next 2 weeks on the Olympic Games so that I can bring our viewers the best stories and the things that are coming out of Paris. So time management is what swimming taught me.
Well, we appreciate you, and we always love it when you come on Bloom. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to share Brooke's story on BloomTampaBay.com. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.
The following portion of Bloom is sponsored by the Vinoy Resort and Golf Club.
Can't make it to Paris for the Summer Games? The Vinoy Resort and Golf Club's French Patisserie Latte can give you the flavors of France. Joining me now is Vinoy's executive pastry chef, Armand Berger, to share more. Chef, welcome to Bloom.
Thank you for having me here, Gayle. Thank you so much for being here. It's fantastic.
Yeah, this is so fantastic. So tell me more about the Vinoy.
The Vinoy is a beautiful, it's a historic landmark. It's right next to the marina in St. Pete in downtown, and it's renowned for its pink colors, of course. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is so beautiful. I've been so many times over the years, and it just keeps getting renovated and more beautiful as the years go by. And you don't even have to be a hotel guest to enjoy everything there.
No, that's correct. And actually, we went through this beautiful renovation, which part of it was introducing Lottie, our French patisserie.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Yes, so as you can see, we brought you some delights, and at Lottie, basically, we have all of these beautiful pastries. If you can't make it to the Olympics 2024 this summer in Paris, you can always come and satisfy your Paris needs in Lottie, of course, with all the pastries.
And you have so much to offer. Talk me through what we're seeing here today.
Oh my goodness, we have so much delicious things. This is our lemon cream cake over here. This is a cheesecake with fresh raspberries on top. We have over here an entremet, a chocolate with caramel inside. This is very yummy. Always available in Lottie. And some of our petit gâteaux. This one over here is our raspberry temptation with a center of melted raspberries. It's really delicious.
This is really incredible. If somebody was having like an Olympic watch party, they could come by and pick up all of these treats, and they're all handmade.
Yes, 100%. Everything is freshly made daily. Our croissants, our almond croissants, everything as you see here.
So how did you learn to make such beautiful masterpieces in the world of desserts?
Well, I come from Lyon, the capital gastronomy in France. I was taught by my father, who's also a chef. This is the second generation over here.
That's awesome.
And I came to the United States in 1997, and ever since I've been doing pastries.
This is absolutely amazing. And now, a lot of people say the croissant in America doesn't taste the same way as it does in Paris, but I'm sure yours does.
We try our best to make it authentic, absolutely. We use butter that's imported.
Really?
Yes.
So a little taste of France
Yes.
comes to the Vinoy.
Absolutely.
All right, and when people walk in, this is all out for display, or?
Yes. Everything that you see here is always on display in Lotti. Some items come freshly at 11, some items come at 6 a.m., depending on what it is, but we always have everything ready for you. And actually, at 3 p.m. every Saturday, you can join us for Lotti Live, where I showcase one of our items and I explain how we make it. It's very entertaining, it's quite fun. And we also curate a beautiful high tea where Lotti brings some of our little pastries and delicious teas.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yes.
What a delight. And St. Petersburg in the downtown area is so beautiful. And just to have the Vinoy there as part of the gorgeous backdrop. And Chef, you there serving up all these treats. It couldn't get any better.
Well, thank you so much, Gayle. I really appreciate that.
Likewise, Chef Armand, thank you for joining us. And for more information, you can visit thevinoy.com. Bloom will be right back.
The preceding portion of Bloom was sponsored by the Vinoy Resort and Golf Club.
Living the Tampa Bay lifestyle means enjoying the sand, sun, and outdoors fun. So get out, get active, and nurture those healthy habits. Hey there, I'm Gayle, host of Bloom. Now there's a new all-inclusive place with everything you need to shape your lifestyle, boost your health, and improve your wellness. BloomTampaBay.com, Tampa Bay's premier health and wellness website, made to help you feel good. Whether you're a fitness fanatic, beauty buff, or just want to take your first step towards positive change, this free website is for you. See the Bay Area's hottest fitness products, the latest workout crazes, and learn nutrition tips from the experts. Plus, discover local events and experiences designed with your well-being in mind. Cultivate a healthy mind, body, and soul. Check out BloomTampaBay.com, your local health and wellness website. That's BloomTampaBay.com. Welcome back to Bloom. There's a new Olympic sport called sport climbing, which we know as rock climbing here in the U.S. It debuted at the Tokyo 2020 Games and will be part of Paris 2024. I found a really exciting way to try it out, so come along as I visit Vertical Ventures in St. Petersburg. Bryce at Vertical Ventures in St. Petersburg. And Bryce, this place is so cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a different place when it comes to getting your movement in and things like that. Different environment for most people, but I'm glad that you like it so much.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And the Bloom team has me trying things I've never really done before. And I have to tell you, it's been a long time that I've tried rock climbing, and I think I barely made it up a few steps.
Well, I think today we're going to talk to you about a few things that might help with that, and hopefully we can get you all the way to the very top of the wall.
Is it okay that I'm a little bit scared?
I think that's a good thing. I think that's a natural thing. Even me, who's been climbing for a little bit, I get scared every time I'm about to get onto the wall. And the walls that we're going to be doing today are a little bit taller. So if you have a fear of heights or, falling, things like that, it can be, something that gets in your brain a little bit even before you start the climb.
What are some of the tips I need to keep in mind as I do this?
I think the biggest thing is just staying calm. A lot of times in situations like this, people can get kind of nervous and just start grasping for straws. You know what I'm saying? Grasping for holds. But the biggest thing is just like anything that you do movement-wise, just trying to be mindful about it. So looking at the options that you have, not only when it comes to your hands, but your feet, and also just mentally not trying to get too into your head about it, because that is one thing that can definitely stop a climber from achieving something. Honestly, I would say go into it with the attitude that you are, and I think you're gonna do really well.
All right, let's get climbing, Bryce.
Awesome.
All right, I'm ready to go.
All right, now Gayle, biggest thing, Just try to have fun, okay? You're gonna do great.
All right.
Nice, Gayle. Yeah, just try to use your feet. Doing great. Nice. There we go, Gayle.
Is this a hand one?
Yeah, you can use that as a hand. And just like you're doing, just trust those feet. Nice. Gayle, I believe in you. You can get to the top. One of the best things about climbing, especially when we're climbing on walls like this, or we have ropes and belay devices, it's not that heavy of an impact on your body. So if you climb correctly, you know, if you take care of yourself with recovery along with the climbing, you can be doing it for years and years and years. Look down to those foot options. You can always look down to see where you can put your foot next and things like that. That one right there, perfect. It is a solid workout. If you climb correctly and you push yourself a little bit, once you start to get out of that, you know, nervous zone, you're definitely gonna start to build up a sweat. I try to get both hands on the very top of the wall. Nice, Gayle. Yeah, look down to those feet. Get those feet up a little bit higher. There it is. Both hands touch the top. Woo! Nice job.
Oh my God. I made it. I did it. That was fun.
Nice job. That was a good job.
Thanks.
Very good.
Whew. That was hard.
It was fun, but it was also a great workout. I'll share this story with you on BloomTampaBay.com. And coming up, we're counting down to Paris with U.S. Olympic swimmer and world champion Bobby Fink. Find out how he's preparing to defend his titles in the 2 longest freestyle events. But first, it's time for today's Bloom trivia question. Olympic sport climbing features which discipline? Speed, bouldering, lead, or all of the above? We'll have the answer later on Bloom. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. We begin where your checkup ends. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Welcome back to Bloom. The hugely popular Epic Chef competition is back. Joining me now with more on the event, which is all about cooking for a cause, is the CEO of Feeding Tampa Bay and Epic Chef host, Thomas Mance, and Stovall House executive chef, Rachel Bennett, who is a former Epic Chef judge and this year's co-host. Welcome, guys.
We're glad to be
Thank
here.
you for having us.
So for folks that don't know, this event is like none other. Give me a little bit of the background and the history of it.
Well, you know, it's our 8th year, and it was created, I think, really to celebrate culinary arts in our community, the chefs and restaurants that have been so good to Feeding Tampa Bay over the years, and it's just a perfect opportunity to talk about how we all enjoy food. You know, we say that everything good in life happens around a table, and that's important, and Epic Chef celebrates that, but it also matters who's with you at the table. And so all of this is meant to bring people together towards, as you said, an important cause.
And Chef Rachel, you're a celebrated chef here in Tampa Bay. I followed you since you launched your career.
Yeah. They give me balloons every Sunday.
They should. And a red carpet and all the other things. So what is it like for you being part of this incredible event and seeing all the chefs who I witnessed firsthand? There's no real competition when it comes to this, when it comes to the cause. Now, when it comes to the cooking, yes, but everybody comes together and works hand in hand.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm super excited to be able to co-host with Thomas. Obviously, we're gonna have a great time, but just the cause itself that you get to do it for, and the fact that we get to celebrate the people who don't get to have their name on the menu, right? The sous chefs that are really the soldiers of the restaurant, and really get to celebrate them and let them have their moment and their red carpet and their, lights and camera and action kind of moment. So it's it's a really great time. And then you get to learn a lot about the organization, all the good that you could do, that they do, and all the amazing things. And it's just so much fun.
It's nice. Year after year, there's always a party outside of the Epicurean Theater where we host the event, and all the past winners are there.
Yeah.
It's fun for them to come back and see. And I think, you know, for folks that don't know, this is a real competition. You have 2 30-minute segments, you have mystery ingredients, you're under the pressure of the clock and of the lights and of everybody staring at you.
Yeah.
Those that win are all deserving winners, and the winner goes home with a $5,000 check. That's a pretty nice prize for a chef to get.
And it's also a cool opportunity for spectators to see these chefs in action and see how they work, because oftentimes you guys are working behind the scenes.
Definitely, exactly. You know, and we're going to do a lot of, you know, I'm going to be in their face with microphones and they're going to want to swat me away, but that's really what people want to see when they're in the crowd, right? Like, we'll do a lot of talking and interviews and things like that to kind of fill the 30 minutes, but there's going to be a lot of focus on what are they doing, what are you making? I know I've competed on shows before and they do a lot of talking and in your face, and so you really have to balance that. And so it's going to be a really interesting experience this time and cool for them.
And as you know, having been there, folks in the audience always have an idea about what they would do, right? It's interesting to ask them, so how would you have handled this particular set of ingredients? Some of them, I think you've had, as a judge, you've had a few different challenges.
Oh yeah, I had some cow tongue my first year, so some really interesting challenges. I'm waiting for them to throw in like gummy bears or something this year.
But it's, you know, I think it's just amazing the gifts of the culinary community, and we want to celebrate that. As I said, they're so good to us. The other part of it is we always want to make sure that we create awareness that the meals we all enjoy on a night for Epic Chef, we want to make sure those same meals end up on tables of families in our community who need help.
Yeah, and there's no doubt about it. And it also gives folks in the Tampa Bay area, like you say, they see what's happening and the millions of mouths that are fed every day thanks to your nonprofit and your organization. And then it also gives people in the Tampa Bay area a reminder to support our local chefs.
Yes, definitely. And it's some, you know, really great restaurants, and it's some
we have
heard
4
of.
really good ones.
4 really good ones. You have Rooster in the Till, the Tides Market, Predalina, Stovall House is in there. So it's just going to give some names.
Stovall House?
We've never even heard of that restaurant before.
The food's quite
the
good.
two of us are going to be quite a charm.
Wait, where is it you work?
We don't know. We can't say that.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery. Let's talk about what's new going on with Feeding Tampa Bay.
Yeah, as you know, we just finished a significant build. We opened our brand new Causeway Center, which is where the food bank is housed, but also a lot of other programs and services. We built a really important community center where we can all come together. It includes, and Chef has given her mark of approval, it includes an 11,000 square foot production kitchen.
Wow.
So not only can we provide groceries, which is important, but for a lot of folks, we can start to provide meals, just as we've been talking about today. So it is a significant opportunity for us, but also for our community to find ways to look after those who come into our care, those who are struggling every day to kind of put the loose ends together and survive as families.
You know, it's really hard to put in perspective in a 5-minute segment all the incredible work that you guys do, but to see just on a personal level how, you know, Tampa Bay has done it so right in Feeding Tampa Bay of ramping up, you know, to meet the needs of so many people.
Yeah, you've known us a long time, Gayle. We've worked really hard to provide more and more food. Now our objective is continue to provide more food. We can double the amount of meals we can put in the community from the new center, but also provide just as many services, programs, education. We have classrooms, we have gathering rooms. There's all kinds of ways that we can start to say, hey, as a community, let's come together, build out opportunity, and make sure that no one gets left behind.
Yeah. Well, it's great seeing you both. Thank you so much for bringing a heavy hitter like Chef Rachel on Bloom. That's a big get for us, and congratulations on your incredible work.
Yeah, I'm very blessed to have with them.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
You can stream this, by the way. We're going to tell you all about it if you can't attend the actual events. They have quite the production team going on. We're going to share everything that you need to know on BloomTampaBay.com. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
The following portion of Bloom is sponsored by Age Rejuvenation on behalf of PTS Medical Center.
Welcome back to Bloom. About 6 out of every 100 people in the U.S. will develop post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, according to the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. Joining us now to discuss a cutting-edge therapy for PTSD is the author of A New You, Dr. Michael Meehan. a musculoskeletal pain management and health optimization specialist with PTS Medical Center. Doctor, welcome to Bloom.
Thanks for having me.
So doctor, what exactly is PTSD and PTSI, another term we hear about?
So post-traumatic stress disorder, post-traumatic stress injury is the result of anything traumatic that may have happened at any time in our life. It could be some childhood trauma, could be sexual trauma, could be an injury, car wreck, any of those sort of things that will kind of lay a memory and will kind of allow us to kind of perseverate on it, and basically can negatively affect health in multiple different ways.
Now, talk to me about DSGB and how this works into helping patients get some relief from this.
Right, it's an older treatment with a newer indication. So it's been used for pain for multiple years, 90 plus years. Kind of came into the psychiatry field probably in the last 10 to 15 years and has multiple studies associated with it showing both benefit and or efficacy. So basically what it involves is using ultrasound guidance, similar to what you look at with a baby, putting medication in or around what's called the stellate ganglion or the cervical sympathetic chain in your neck in 2 different levels around the C4 and C6 levels. And basically what it does is it kind of helps to balance out your autonomic nervous system. So the things we don't have to think about, pupil dilation, sweating, heart rate, all those sort of things. So instead of it being always on where you're kind of in that fight or flight mode or where you always feel like you're on the rat wheel, this kind of helps to balance that out so you can get to your rest, relax, and digest type nervous system, and also kind of keeps things relatively even. So you can still get up here, but you can get back down much more readily, much more easily. It tends to help with sleep and a good number of other things that are also beneficial for health as well.
Wow, this is really fascinating. Now, what exactly is interventional psychiatry?
So I didn't coin the term, but kind of used for this treatment. Most of the time when we think of psychiatry, we think of talk therapy or we think of medications. And those still are indicated, but there's certain folks that have challenges kind of getting the response and the look that they're going for. They started doing this primarily in veterans, and because they had some challenges, and most of the 2 docs that were doing it were prior veterans themselves. So it was a quick way to kind of get people reset, but they've also seen that there are significant benefits moving forward 6, 12 months out, even longer. And it's something that's nice because it can be repeated, and there aren't really anything that we're injecting that is going to cause any deleterious side effects or problems associated with that at all.
Now, how can DSGB treat anxiety and depression? Does it work for that as well?
It does. So it basically affects a few things. So again, balancing out the nervous system. Norepinephrine, which is one of our excitatory neurotransmitters, typically is kind of dampened with this. And then it also affects part of the brain called the amygdala, which is where we center a lot of our emotions, a lot of our fears, a lot of our anger, and a good number of other things. It's kind of our monkey brain or kind of our old brain, which is very necessary for life, but unfortunately sometimes it gets in a revolving wheel where it continues to aggravate us and irritate us. So if you can reset the amygdala and some of the other pieces, then your body can kind of reset. Your cortisol levels will come down, your inflammatory levels will come down, and you can kind of get rid of a lot of the clutter and really kind of work and focus on being instead of doing all the time.
Doctor, this is absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing it with our Bloom viewers.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And for more information, you can visit endptsd.com. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
The preceding portion of Bloom was sponsored by Age Rejuvenation on behalf of PTS Medical Center.
Welcome back to Bloom. It is time for your countdown to Paris, and we are so excited to celebrate Clearwater's Bobby Fink, who's heading to Paris to defend his titles in the 2 longest freestyle events. Bobby Fink, welcome to Bloom.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, Bobby, you won the final event of the U.S. swimming trials, blowing away the field in the 1,500-meter freestyle. Now you're set to compete in the men's 800-meter free and the 1,500-meter free in Paris, right?
Yeah, it was a good couple of days we had over in Indy, and I'm honored to be able to represent Team USA and compete in the same 2 events I won gold in back in Tokyo. And I'm just looking forward to getting over there and racing the guys again.
Yeah, and this will be, as you mentioned, your second Olympic Games. Talk to me about what the experience was like.
I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. This whole experience, at least for Paris, is going to be completely different than it was for Tokyo. You know, we're going to have our family there. We're going to have a bunch of spectators, and I'm really just looking forward to looking out across the pool and seeing, you know, a bunch of people sitting in the stands this time.
And you know, there are a lot of proud Gator fans out there. I mean, all of us are proud of you. But the UF alum support is and UF student support is really tremendous, and that's got to be exciting for you as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the staff we have over at University of Florida, I've been here for about 6 years, and that's not even counting the time I spent in St. Pete, down in, you know, with Fred Lewis at North Shore Aquatics. And, you know, I've had the greatest staff around me my entire career, and I'm just honored to be able to represent all the hard work that, you know, they've put into me. And, you know, it's just, you know, I care about them a lot. They're pretty much part of my family, and being able to represent them as well as Team USA is awesome.
And, you know, there's a lot of young aspiring swimmers that want to advance like you. Any advice for them?
You know, the biggest piece of advice that I took growing up was trust your coaches. You know, it's very easy to feel down about a hard set, a hard practice. But as long as you trust your coaches and trust that process that you're putting you through, you should get some good results at the end of the day.
As we lead in the coming weeks to Paris, I mean, what are you doing to prepare? Are you just at it every day?
Currently we are right now. I'm kind of getting my butt kicked in practice right now. We got about 4.5 weeks until I race. And, you know, we'll start going down a bit again and start resting. But right now I'm just getting my butt kicked. So.
Well, and how long do you get to before you actually have to compete? Are you there for many days leading up to that? Yeah,
so we actually leave this Sunday for a small camp in Raleigh, North Carolina. We'll be there for about 8 or 10 days. And then after that, we'll go to Croatia for another week and a half. And then from Croatia, we will travel to Paris for the remainder of the trip and for the games.
Well, Bobby, I have to say, first of all, we're so excited that you would take time out of your busy schedule to join us on Bloom, and we're all rooting for you. We appreciate you, and just know we're here. Thanks so much.
No, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right. And we're going to share this story on BloomTampaBay.com. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this. It's time for today's Bloom Trivia question. Olympic sport climbing features which discipline? Speed, bouldering, lead, or all of the above? The answer is all of the above. Olympic sport climbing debuted at Tokyo 2020 and featured all 3 disciplines for a single set of medals. Well, we hope you'll tune in again on the next Bloom presented by Lifeguard Imaging. It's time for this week's What the Health with the Today Show's Joy Bauer. And content creator Diana Blinkhorn has tips on living abroad with kids and what it's like to live as a local versus just vacationing. So stay healthy, everyone, and I will see you on the next Bloom.
Content segments during Bloom were paid for by the Vinoy Resort and Golf Club and Age Rejuvenation on behalf of PTS Medical Center.
Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.